Imagine a peaceful Mexican ranch. Cattle graze quietly under the warm sun. A gentle breeze rustles the tall grass. Everything seems calm, idyllic even. But a tiny creature often unseen can shatter this peace. This creature is a fly. It is no ordinary housefly, buzzing harmlessly. This particular fly carries a horrifying secret. It seeks out the smallest wound on an animal. A tick bite, a scratch from a thorny bush, or even the navel of a newborn calf can be an invitation for this menace. This fly is the New World Screwworm fly. Its scientific name is... The name itself, Hominivirax, means man-eater. While it primarily targets animals, its potential is chilling. The female fly, once she finds a suitable spot, lays her eggs. She can lay hundreds of them in a single, horrifying cluster. These eggs are small, white, and seemingly innocuous. But they are a ticking time bomb. Within hours, a terrible transformation begins, hidden from view, deep within the flesh of the unsuspecting animal. From these eggs, tiny larvae hatch. We often call them maggots, but these are not the kind of maggots that simply clean wounds. These are flesh-eating worms. They are parasites of the most gruesome kind. They begin to feed on the living tissue of their host. The invasion is silent, yet devastatingly effective. The New World Screwworm fly is a creature of grim efficiency. It is a metallic blue-green fly with orange eyes. It looks quite striking, almost beautiful, but its beauty hides a truly horrific life cycle. The adult female fly is the key. She mates only once in her lifetime. After mating, she searches relentlessly for a warm-blooded animal with an open wound. She can smell blood from a remarkable distance. This makes any injured animal a vulnerable target for her deadly cargo of eggs. Once the larvae hatch, they don't just stay on the surface. They are obligate parasites. This means they can only survive by feeding on the living flesh of a warm-blooded animal. They have powerful mouthhooks. They use these to tear at tissue. They also secrete enzymes that liquefy the flesh, making it easier to consume. The wound grows larger and deeper. It emits a foul odor. This odor tragically attracts even more female screwworm flies. This leads to multiple infestations on the same poor animal. The impact on livestock is catastrophic. Cattle are prime targets, so are sheep, goats, pigs, and horses. Even deer and other wildlife suffer. Pets like dogs are not safe either. Newborn animals are especially vulnerable. The New World Screwworm was not always confined to distant lands. It once plagued the southeastern United States. Ranchers there knew its devastating power all too well. They faced enormous losses every year. The problem seemed insurmountable for a long time. The flies were widespread. The landscape was vast. How could anyone possibly control such a pervasive and destructive pest? The situation demanded a bold and innovative response, a new way of thinking about pest control. The United States Department of Agriculture, the USDA, took up this challenge. They understood the gravity of the threat. They knew that simply managing outbreaks was not enough. A more permanent solution was needed. Meanwhile, Mexico to the south was also suffering terribly. Its vast livestock herds were under constant attack. The screwworm knew no borders. It moved freely, causing misery and economic hardship wherever it established itself. The shared nature of the problem hinted at a shared solution. Section 4. A clever solution. The Sterile Insect Technique. Traditional methods of pest control often involved chemicals. Pesticides were sprayed. While sometimes effective, they had drawbacks. They could harm beneficial insects. They could contaminate the environment. They could also pose risks to animal and human health. For the screwworm, a more targeted approach was needed. Scientists were looking for a smarter way, a way to fight the pest without widespread chemical warfare. The answer came from a deep understanding of the insect's own biology. Two visionary scientists at the USDA, Dr. Edward F. Nippling and Dr. Raymond C. Bushland, had an idea. It was an idea born in the 1930s and developed over many years. Their concept was revolutionary. What if they could use the screwworm fly against itself? What if they could turn its own reproductive drive into a tool for its destruction? This was the genesis of the Sterile Insect Technique, or SIT. It was a bold leap of imagination, a truly elegant solution to a very nasty problem. The Sterile Insect Technique is a form of birth control for insects. It is incredibly specific. It targets only the pest species. It does not introduce foreign organisms into the environment. Instead, it uses the pest's own kind. The basic principle is simple. Section 5. The Science in Action, How SIT Works Wonders. The implementation of the Sterile Insect Technique is a massive undertaking. It begins with a special facility, a kind of fly factory. Here, millions upon millions of New World screwworm flies are reared. They are raised in controlled conditions. They are fed a special diet. Everything is carefully managed to produce healthy, vigorous insects. This mass rearing is the first crucial step. The scale of this operation is truly astounding. It requires meticulous planning and execution day in, day out. Once the flies reach a certain stage of development, typically as pupae, they undergo a critical process. They are exposed to a carefully calibrated dose of ionizing radiation. This is usually from a source like cobalt-60. The radiation sterilizes the male flies. It damages their reproductive cells. This means they cannot father offspring. Importantly, the radiation dose is precise. It sterilizes them without significantly harming their overall health or their mating competitiveness. They must still be attractive to wild females. After sterilization, these millions of male flies are ready for release. They are packaged carefully. Section 6. Turning the tide: current successes and ongoing vigilance. The sterile insect technique proved to be incredibly effective against the New World Screwworm. The program began in Florida in the late 1950s. Within a few years, the screwworm was eradicated from the southeastern United States. This was a remarkable victory. Encouraged by this success, the program expanded. It moved westward, clearing the pest from Texas and other southwestern states. By 1966, the United States was declared free of screwworm. But the threat remained just across the border in Mexico. The joint COMEXA program then took up the fight in Mexico. It was a long and arduous campaign. Mexico is a large country with diverse geography, but step by step, region by region, the screwworm was pushed south. Millions of sterile flies were released each week. The fly factory in Tuxtla Gutierrez, Chiapas, Mexico, became the heart of the operation. It is a massive facility dedicated to rearing and sterilizing these insects. By 1991, Mexico too was declared free of the pest. The program continued, pushing the barrier further south through Central America. Today, a permanent sterile fly barrier is maintained. This barrier is located in eastern Panama at the Darien Gap. This strategic region is a natural bottleneck. Section 7. A shared future: protecting North America's livestock. The success of the screwworm eradication program has profound importance for Mexico. With the pest gone, Mexican livestock can thrive. Cattle herds are healthier, sheep and goats are more productive. This means greater food security for the nation. It also means improved livelihoods for countless farmers and their families. The economic burden of the screwworm, once so heavy, has been lifted. This allows for greater investment in agriculture and rural development. It is a story of liberation from a devastating natural enemy. For the United States and Canada, the benefits are equally significant. The continued maintenance of the Panama Barrier protects their multi-billion-dollar livestock industries. If the screwworm were to reinvade, the economic consequences would be immense. The cost of control, lost production, and animal suffering would be staggering. The relatively small investment in the barrier program yields enormous returns in terms of avoided losses. It is a vital shield, protecting the agricultural heartlands of North America. The screwworm eradication program is more than just a victory over a single pest. It stands as a shining example of successful international cooperation. Two nations, and later more, working together to solve a common problem. It is also a testament to the power of science and innovation.